Hello guys, welcome back to my another second video on this YouTube channel Python tutorials. So today we are going to study Python again as a continuation of previous parts from loops for strings. Back previous topic we have studied this topic loops for numbers. Today we are going to study today we are going to study wait a second now. Yesterday, in previous lectures, we have studied, we have covered until the loops for numbers, where we understand what for how to use loops with numbers. For that, we need range functions, and with that, best way to understand is going with an example where we take a scenario one from 1 to -5, like for always taking loops for numbers. If you want to run loops for numbers, we have to use the syntax for I in range, and from where we have to start the loop to end until to end the loop, and we have to print that input to get the required output. Okay, so let's continue today from loops another part. Okay, this is just starting. Okay, so today we are going to study from loops for strings. We are continuing our lecture from loops for strings. So here, as you can see, loops are generally is important so that to define a certain range functions in Python, which can also help to define certain range functions, also help in range functions, because the range function is important before understanding the loops. I said loops is a continuation repetition things. If you in a real life we cannot write same cannot write some sort of sentence multiple times. It's practically not possible. But in Python, we can do with that the help of loops. This is the example, I would say technical example or practical example for using the loops in Python. Okay, so let's start with the loops for strings. Earlier we have studied loops for numbers. How from if you want to print the repetition range from some sort of numbers to from some sort of index numbers to another index numbers. Okay, let's start from loops for strings. In loops for strings we work slightly differently. We can use it for iteration through strings in two ways, using index values and iterating directly over the strings. So iterating basically uses the index values now, and also we know that index values are numbers, and for numbers we again have to use range functions. Definitely we have to reuse the range function is a common thing, and basic it's an basic thing to use. Okay, so it is important. As we know, in previous lectures we have studied about loops of numbers, where we said that iterating using index values, because range function, we know that index values and numbers, and for numbers we again have to use range functions are the basic thing to understand loops, and it's more obvious. Range is anything which defines the loop. First of all, it's an blueprint of loop, you can say. Okay, so let's take an example. A is equal to, in variable a we are printing the input, printing the storing the value nature in string for I in range length of a. Okay, so print ai. Here for I in range we are taking the syntax of range functions, uh, taking the syntax for range functions of length a in length of a. This len signifies length of a. Length, you can understand length as the number of elements in that word. is known as its length. Let's suppose here it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So its length is 5 of this word. So by printing AI, we'll get the suitable range of this variable. Here you iterated over the string using the index values for better understandings. Okay. So second way is simpler. We can directly iterate, but using this method will give you the direct access to the characters instead of index values. Okay. And like we can use the char function also. Char function, let me explain this also. Char is a similar to len function. Char means character. It only stores the characters. Okay, it only used when characters are there. If there is we integer numbers, so we have to write I int in a. Okay, we cannot write char. Char stores only characters function, character inputs. Okay. Yeah, and after that, let's start with a new topic. Break, continue, else. Things written above are very important for loops. As we have covered the loops. Okay, now we are going to start with break, continue, and else. Let's say you have this racetrack and you have to complete 20 laps, but when you were completing the 16th laps and it started raining, now you cannot complete the run. So let's take a real world scenario. By taking this as a real world scenario, you are on a racetrack. You have to complete 20 laps, but when you have completing the 16th laps and it started raining now, you cannot complete the rounds. Okay, so the example explains that you break the statement. The break statement in Python is used to exit a loop. Basically, let's suppose you got the, it's a very good example. If you see, understand, let me help you to understand this. You are running a marathon, let's suppose of 100 kilometers. No, it's very less. Okay, let's suppose 500 kilometers marathon is there. It will be too much. Sorry, I'm just kidding. Let's suppose 30-kilometer marathon is there. 30 kilometers marathon is there, and 30 kilometers marathon, and in between 30 kilometers marathon, you have covered 15 kilometers marathon. Uh, without a 15-kilometer marathon without any problem, and suddenly your legs got twisted. Unfortunately, for God's sake, it doesn't happen to anyone, but taking a hypothetical situation, your legs got twisted. You cannot no more continue again other uh, again. So 15 kilometers, and also marathon is in a loop. Always remember that. Don't compare that marathon is in a straight line. Consider in this situation, marathon is in quite loop, like a track. Marathon is happening in a loop track. Race tracks are generally in loop, definitely. Marathons are not in loop, I know. Please consider marathon as a loop here in this situation. Okay, because I am relating this example with real life, so I use the word marathon. For that, forgive me. No problem. Okay, so you cannot no more continue because you got leg twisted. Okay, so your loop got break there. You have 15 kilometers, two more left, but you can't able to cover that due to injury. So the AVI examples explain the break statement in Python, and in the real life you have seen the break also to exit a loop prematurely when a certain condition is met. Okay, once break is encountered, the loop stops immediately and controls to move to the next statement after the loop. The continue statement skips one of the iteration and rest of the iterations and will run for understanding. Let's say you will not run for the 16th lap. Here you understand in this scenario, or in real life, let's understand, let's say you will not run the 16 kilometers, but all other previous kilometers up to 15 kilometers will be there. Okay, We have seen this else statement used with if else we have seen, but if can also be used with loops too. When else is used with loop, if it only executes if the loop completes without encountering a break statement. If break executed, the else block will not run. For loop questions, there are some loop questions. Accept an integer and print world n times. Print natural numbers up to n. Reverse for loop. Print to n to n. These are all questions you can try by your own self. Quite easy. Take a number as input and print its table. Sum of two n numbers. Factorial of a number. Print the sum of all even and odd numbers in a range separately. Print all the factors of a number except a number and check if it is a perfect number or not. A number whose sum of factors is equal to the number itself. Okay. Example, let's taking an example. Okay, 6 is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 is also equal to 6. Check whether the number is prime or not. It's quite confusing, I guess. uh, I will not suggest you to refer this example. Okay, it's quite confusing. You can understand too. Let's say he's asking a number, check whether the number is a prime or not. You can use a if else statement easily here. We can use the loop too in if else. Okay. Reverse a string without using in a build function. Check string in palindrome. Palindrome. Okay, palindrome or not. Let me explain you what is palindrome basically, because lots palindrome is the first new word we have encountered here. Let me explain the palindrome. Okay. Okay, yeah. So palindrome, what I was saying is palindrome. Palindrome is actually a built-in function of len, I guess. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it's a built-in function of len. And palindrome reads the strings of forward and backward. Can read the string in forward and backward. That is its most important use. Okay, so yeah, count. Count here. There's a question. Count all letters, digits, and special symbols from given string. Here, given string is p at the rate hash y and 2680, and this is I think so. Whatever it is, it's an arrow. Yeah, and I5VE in the string, double quotations. Expected outcomes is total counts of characters kitne hai isme, digits, how many digits are there and how many symbols are there. So characters here you say it's 8 and digits are only 3, 2, 6 and 5 and symbols are 4. Symbols are like this special characters you can say, either it hash, arrow. Okay, these are symbols which are 4. Okay, this one too. So you can do this question too, it's easy. Now let's go with while loop. Let's understand while loop. So while loop is an important yes, it's important because while loop is very important. From the loops in the topic of loops in Python, while loop is very important. For loop you can ignore according to exam point of view, but while loop you cannot. The while loop is the very important according to exam point of view too. Okay, let's understand while loop. You have previously taken the information of loops and you also know conditional statements. Okay, to going to be easy for you to understand, the while loop repeats a block of code as long as condition is true. It is useful when the number of iteration is unknown before execution. Here it's clearly saying that it is useful. While loop is useful when the number of iteration is unknown before executions, which is important. If we know the number of iteration, if we don't know the number of iterations before execution, while loop helps us. Okay, so we have studied about loops and all those things. The while loops, the basic thing is that it repeats the block of code as long as the condition is true. Okay, it does not interfere, means it does not breaks. Okay, while loop does not break. Okay, while loop does not break. It keeps repeating and gives the uh, as long as the condition is true, it will repeat its block of code which has been stated for that statement. Okay. So yeah, so there is not much that you have to understand about while loop because it is also have a break, continue, and else. Now you just have to find out which loop will be used on what questions. While loop questions are there, separate each digit of a number and print it on the new line. Accept a number and print it reverse. Accept a number and check if a palindrome number, if number and its reverse are equals. Create a random number guessing game with a Python. These are a game and game creation also Python while loops are very important. They are used. So let's go start with another topic, functions. Here the functions, basically functions in Python, as we have already said, len function, define function. We'll go further. We see here define function actually, yeah. As you know, in Python there are a lot of built-in functions. Now we are going to study all of them in depth. Okay. So let's start. Function in Python groups are is like a reusable code into a block that can be executed by calling the function name. This helps avoid repetitions and makes program modular and readable. There are many inbuilt functions in Python like print function as you are familiar, input function you are familiar length function I told you in this lecture. Length function is basically the length of the alphabetical characters. Not important. It's not important. If it is alphabetical, it can be numerical value, integer value. Okay, length is the number of indexes of a word. Okay, but you can create your own functions and they are called as a user defined functions. To make your own functions you have to use def keyword and then name the functions. After this you have to call the function using name and parenthesis, such as the basic syntax for the function in for the define is def greet. Here you can see print hello welcome to Python. Okay, print hello welcome to Python is a, here we can see def greet, you're greeting someone, and this is print hello welcome to Python. Now greet, if you call the again after defining the function you will call the function. Okay, we are calling here the function greet and it will be printed. Okay, function parameters and arguments. First thing I want to talk about is parameters. Parameters are the variables listed inside the function definitions. For making the functions, we have to accept inside the parenthesis of the functions. Okay, so another, let's talk about arguments. Arguments are the values passed to a functions when it is called. For example, you can see you have created the parameters that are working like variables. Then we can pass the variables to our variables using arguments. Let's suppose def greet is there, name is there, print formatting string, as we know we use here also hello and the name and exclamation marks. See, name is a parameter. Okay, here name is a parameter and the Alice where whom we are greeting, Alice is an argument. Always remember the difference between the parameters and arguments. Parameters are the basically you can understand. Let me explain you what is parameter. You might get confused here. Let me tell you what is parameter and argument. So here let's understand parentheses. Basically parameters are the functions which are listed in parentheses. Okay, which are listed in parentheses inside a function. Okay, and whereas other hand, if we say arguments, arguments are the actual values which are called. Here we are calling Alice, that's why Alice is an actual value here which we are calling, hence it is an argument. Okay, arguments are the actual values. Parameters are just the values which are in parentheses in inside the function block. Okay, so for example, as you can see, name the parameters analysis the argument that we passed name. You can pass an n number of parameters and arguments, but they must be same. Like if you have taken 3 parameters, you have to provide the 3 arguments. Otherwise, there will be errors. And other thing is first parameter will always capture first argument, and so on. These arguments are called positional arguments too. Here you can see name is catching Alice, which we have actual value replaced with actual value Alice. So we have called. Okay, that's what he's saying. Types of here are types in now arguments also have types. Okay, as we have studied data types, there are types of data types. So here arguments have also different types of arguments are there. Like say define add, we have three types of arguments that we can pass to parameters: positional arguments, okay, default arguments, and keyword arguments. These are three types of arguments for in Python. For understanding this, let's take examples of each. This is a positional argument. Define add a comma b semicolon. Okay, so return, we are returning the values a plus b. The print will be, then the print, we are using the function add here, 3 comma 5. 3 will be assigned to a and 5 to be b. These are positional arguments. As you can see, taking the positions automatically according to the according to the parameters. The actual values are taking the places positions assigned according to parameters. Now here in the second scenario, you can see the default arguments. Def introduce name comma age. Print, we are using a print formatting string here. Print formatting I am name and I am age years old. Introduce age is equal to 25, name is equal to double quotation John. Here you can say default arguments that Python knows basically for what which will be used. Basically, if there is a name, then there will be definitely a string type data, and if there is a age, then there will be integer type data or a float type data. Then Python will automatically defaultly will take the input automatically. We don't need to do think more much. We just need to print the syntax here. Formatting I am the name and I am the age years old. Okay, introduce age 25, name John. Second is def greet, name is equal to guest. Third, sorry, let's taking third scenario. Oh my, wait a second. Third state scenario, let's take def greet, define greet, name guest. This is a keyword argument. As you can see, keyword guest, we are taking name is equal to double quotation in guest, printing formatting string hello name exclamation mark. Then greet will be used as a default value as for guest, and greet Bob uses Bob as an actual value. Okay, the Bob will be given replaces to actual values. So first example shows how positional arguments work. Second example shows how is a spelling mistake I can see. No problem. Sorry for that. How default arguments works here. If you don't pass any values, still the function will run. Okay, and the last example, which is you can see last example. Okay, that last keyword that was in keyword argument, which works using the which can works using this. You can pass values in any order. Okay, irrespective of order it works. Now let's talk about data structures. So data structures in Python also, there is data structures inbuilt in there, inbuilt in data structures. Like in Python there are inbuilt libraries. We'll discuss libraries in further. There are inbuilt data structures, there are inbuilt functions. That's why Python is a high level programming language. Okay, inbuilt data structures are used to store, organize, and manipulate the data okay, efficiently. Python provides several built-in data types. Okay, built-in data structures, sorry, built-in data structures. And for storing multiple values, we will again use variables. Now in Python we have four types of inbuilt data structures: list, tuple, dictionary, and set. Okay, these are the four important, I will say, fundamental types of built-in data structures in Python. Okay, now there are some custom data structures as well, like stacks, queries, linked list, graphs. These are all covered in algorithms, if I would say definitely. These things is not a part of Python for now. These comes in when you do DSA, which is important according to placement point of view in your colleges. DSA in Python. Okay, so now these are some custom structures as well, like stack, quicks, linked, and list graphs. Okay, these are more little complicated. If you study, you will get it. And around these data structures, there are some algorithms like searching algorithms, sorting algorithms. Okay, what I said, DSA is a part of DSA. Okay, and this is why the study is called data structures and algorithm. It has already clearly said here. So no need to study now. This, it is not according to exam point of view. You can ignore this. No need to study. Okay, so there's another thing is list. Now let's study about the first type of data structure, which is list. List powers. Before starting, we need to understand some of terminologies. First of all, list is a mutable. What do you mean by mutable? Mutability is a property. You can refer it as a property of whether an object value can be changed after creation or not. Mutable means its value, its object value can be changed after the creations. Okay, and list allows it. List allows list allows editing. You can understand, like, list allows, you can update the list in future. Okay, you can update the list in real life also. If you make a list of some sort of grocery or anything, you can update it. It's like works like that only. You can take that scenario here also. List refers Mutability refers to whether an object value can be changed after creation, and list allows it. Duplicates. We know data structures are used to store multiple values. So duplicates means same value occurring multiple times. List allows this. Ordered. List maintains order. Data structure maintains the sequence of elements as they were inserted. This means you can access elements using their position index. Okay. Next is heterogeneous. List have heterogeneous natures too. That means we can have multiple data types inside the list. Next is list basics. First, we have to know what is the syntax of list and how to create a list. We have to use square brackets. Okay. Fruits like underscore apple, banana, cherry. Numbers 10, 20, 30, and 40. These are all the list basics. Okay. Here, let's suppose if there is a list of fruits, apple, banana, cherry, all we are, it's a basic important syntax for list. Okay, it will comes in square brackets, double quotation apples, as a it is a string value, third comma banana, comma whatever it is. Numbers, no need of double quotation, they are not string, they are integer values. You can just write 10, 20, 30, whatever it is. So next we are going to study have now in board list has indexing and slicing too. Yes, as we have studied indexing and slicing, in list also we have, indexing and slicing is there. Okay, it is same as string. Forgot how string indexing and slicing works. Watch the videos to revise the notes. No need to revise the watch the videos. I'm here. Okay. The changes we saw in strings and list is about mutability. We can't change the values of strings, but we can off list. Okay, numbers like 10, 20, or 30, numbers 1 to 9, etc., etc. List traversing and methods. Now list traversing is also similar to string traversing. It can be looped using the index values and directly. Now list have some methods that are used to do many things. And don't worry if you are not sure what are the methods. Basically, we'll cover the methods too in upcoming lectures. For now, just think they are like functions. Further, we'll see it clearly. Okay, so now let's see some examples of the methods. We will get it where they're used for here. Numbers like this are initial lists. Numbers dot append here adds 10 to the end. Number insertion, it will insert the 15 at index 2. First we are writing index number and the number which we have to insert. This is the function of insertion, always remember that. the index at which we have to, index means the position at which we have to insert this number. Okay, and after the input, what we have to insert. Numbers dot extend adds multiple elements at the end. Number dot remove removes the first occurrence of 5, and popped item number dot pop 3, it removes and stores the element at index 3. Index is equal to numbers dot index is 6. Find the index of 6. Count 5 will be, it will count the occurrences of 5. Number does sort, it will sort the list in the ascending order. Okay, sorting means just listing the numbers in ascending order. Okay, and pop function, let me tell you about the pop is also new. It's not like the popcorn UPI say what you're saying. It's pop function. Pop functions is like pop function, basically it removes, the pop means it basically removes and stores a particular element which has been justified in the code at index, at that particular index. Okay, so new numbers is equal to numbers dot copy, creates a copy of the list. Numbers dot reverse, it will reverse the list of order. Numbers dot clear, it will remove the all elements. There is a difference between pop function and clear function. Clear function removes the all elements from the list. Pop function basically removes the particular element in the particular element in the function, particular element in the list. Okay, some portions of list here, print positive and negative elements. Very easy. Mean of list elements. Find the greatest elements. You can try all these questions. Okay. Next is tuple. Tuple powers. Now let's talk about tuple. Before starting, we need to understand some of the terminology. Immutable, duplicates, ordered, heterogeneous. Okay. Now immutable, as I said, mutable and immutable. What is the difference? Mutables allows editing. Immutable basically are those which can be updated, basically which can be updated. Okay, in after execution. But tuples, whereas are immutables, they are not mutable, and we cannot change the values of tuple once assigned. That's the problem with the tuples. Duplicates, you can have duplicate values in tuple, but in list there should be unique numbers. What's the condition is you should have unique numbers. As in tuples, you can have duplicate values in tuples. There are no restrictions on that in the tuples. Ordered sets are ordered and you can access them through index values. Heterogeneous sets also have heterogeneous natures and can have different types of data structures in tuples. Okay, different types of data structures in tuples. That is tuple traversing and method. Tuples are traversed in the same manner as lists are traversed, but remember tuples are like strings and you can't change anything once it's made. We can't change them. We all use the case is not much in question solving, but still you have to understand it. Methods of tuples are here. You can see tuples are also are covered with curve brackets. Signifies with curve brackets. Okay, tuples basically are uh, denoted as curve brackets. Okay, here you can see the curve brackets. The curve brackets. Okay, indexes t dot index 9. First, the index of first occurrence of number it will count. The count will count the occurrence. Okay, as you know. Now let's talk about the set powers. The before starting we need to understand some in also terminology in set also. Sets are mutable. Sets can be changed in the values of set. You have also studied set in mathematics, as you are familiar. In mathematics, same properties are there of sets in the Python too. Okay, sets are mutable. They also have they also have unique elements. They do not allow duplicacy. You cannot have any duplicate values instead. That means every element should be unique. Same properties of maths are same in Python too. Unordered sets are unordered and you cannot access them through index values. Yes, sets are unordered basically. They are not sorted. Sets are unordered, but they are unique. We cannot access them through index values. Heterogeneous, They are semi-heterogeneous. It can store some data types like string, numbers, tuples, but not everything. So okay, how set stores the values in Python? Each value in set is hashed using a hash function like this. In Python, the hash is used as an index to store the element in memory. Only immutable hashable objects can be stored in a set. Example, numbers, strings, tuples. Mutable objects like lists and dictionaries are not allowed. Okay. Next, let's talk about the set traversing. Set traversing is a set cannot be traversed using the index values causes because it is unordered and has no index values. That's why set traversing is not possible. So many times it will give random values. You can, okay. Now let's talk about set methods. Now set methods are very powerful because you don't have any indexing. You cannot change the values, but set is mutable. So we use methods for this. For adding and removing the elements, you can use methods as follows. Okay. Hold a second. So these are the set methods as we have studied. Okay. Now set methods are very popular because we don't have any indexing and we cannot change the values, but set is mutable, so we use the methods for this. For adding, removing the elements as we have already discussed for pop element, the clear functions. Now these are some of the basic methods, but set also have some special methods for performing some special operations between two sets. Like A 1 2 3 B 3 4 5 union set A dot B and B 1 2 3 4 5 intersection set different set symmetric differences. Okay, so these are some other operations of sets that can be performed between two sets, and we also have shortcuts of them. So, okay, so we have seen these operations, and while watching the video we have we need to listen this. Okay, but then the set is not used that much in Python. Let's continue. Okay, now let's talk about dictionary. Let's talk about its terminology before discussion and understanding. Dictionaries are mutable. Dictionaries are mutable, meaning we can change the dictionaries, we can update the dictionaries, add or remove the key value pairs after creation. Okay, duplicates keys must be unique, but you can have duplicate in values. Orders dictionary follows insertion order. Okay, you can in real life also in dictionary it follows insertion order. It follows an order. Heterogeneous dictionary can store element types of keys and values like integers, strings, lists, or even another dictionary. Dictionary syntax and workings. Now we know that we have to use keys and value pairs to store and values in dictionary, and the keys in dictionary acts like index values that we use in list. Students like name, John, age 20. Print student name here, output as John. Again telling we can perform CRUD, create, read, update, delete operations. Okay, CRUD is also known as create, read, update, and delete operations on values, but not all on keys cause these keys cannot be changed after creations. Okay. Dictionary traveling. We can traverse both keys and values in dictionaries, but default loop is set or keys, and you can access the values because of keys. So technically, you can traverse on both keys and values at the same time. Okay. Numbers numbers 1, 10 to 23, ratio 34. These are indexing. Okay, in the dictionary. For I numbers, we are using the range function syntax here, print I semicolon numbers. By this is have used. Dictionary methods, there are not many dictionary methods. Let's see the working of as all you know, we can use help dict functions here for getting the informations of the method available. Okay, dictionary questions, here are some questions you can practice on dictionary, like write the Python script to merge the two Python dictionaries. Okay, etc. Well, you can do this. Now let's talk about exceptions handling. In chemistry also there is exceptions in life, everything has exceptions. Let's talk about in Python. Errors occur due to mistakes in the code that prevent it from running. These can be syntax errors or logical errors. Syntax errors like print hello world, missing closing parentheses. These are some common syntax errors where syntax parenthesis is not there. Okay, etc. Indentation errors, they define function, print hello. No indentation is not given. There should be an indentation here. Okay, so it's not there. So hence it's an error. Okay, exceptions are unexpected events or errors that occurs during the execution of program which disrupts the normal flow of the program. Okay, exceptions are unexpected events or errors that occur during the execution of programs which disrupts the normal flow of programs. They have zero division errors counted as exceptions. Because of this, the next line cannot be executed. Like this, there are many other exceptions. Just leave the three errors we saw at start, otherwise others exceptions, and this good part if we can handle them. Let's see how. Okay, let's talk about exception handlings like keyword are try, accept, else, finally, raise. Purposes strike or wrap the block of code that might cause an exception, except handle the exceptions if it occurs, else run code if not no execution occurs. Run code no matters what, whether they are an exceptional or not, raise manually throw an exception. So these are the keywords that we all use, and all these keywords have their separate purposes as mentioned to see. Okay, let's talk about the file handling too. What are files? Files are just any name with an extension is a file. Like in you have studied .py, if you do, then there will be a Python extension file will be developed. If you are want to develop a Word document .txt file, you will want text file. So you can just add an extension .txt, .mp3 if you need any video to be saved. .mp3 extension can be used, etc, etc. These are some uh, extension files which are used for in file handling still now. File handling means creating, reading, update, deleting. It follows the crude operations that we can perform in files. Now let's see how to perform these operations. Python, we have to use open functions to open the file in Python, like mode R read the file must exist, W write creates file or the overwrites, A append adds to end of file, X is create a new file, fails if exists. Now, what are files? You all know what are files. Any name with an extension is a file. Now, that extension can be .py, .txt, .mp3, and when we want to handle these files, we will use file handling. Okay, a file handling, uh, as I said, they follow crude. These are the things. Okay, now I don't think something important to teach you. Let's directly go to oops. Oops. These are very important in Python. I will love to make separate lecture for this. So for now, until here, thank you very much. Okay, I will cover next topic from oops in other upcoming lecture. I will explain it in depth because oops is important. Let me see how much is left. I guess so many things are left. Oops. Oh, it's loading actually. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, let's continue oops from next lecture. So until then, thank you all guys and have a great day. If you like the channel, if you like my content, please like and do comment for my mistakes. You're always welcome. And thanks for Shreyan's Coding School to provide this beautiful material for Python. Thank you very much. Take care.